Hey, how are you? Come on in, man.
How are you? Good to see you.
You too, man.
Yeah, you got a few prints. Pretty excited to check them out.
Let's have a look.
Yeah. The cool thing about the trip was, and it really does relate back to what inspires me, and that's working within the elements. Photographing on Lord Howe, we're in such a raw, exposed environment, working around the tides and weather and wind and swell. When you combine all of those things and try to distill them into a single moment, that's what excites me the most.
How deep is this?
600 meters. The deepest water I've ever been in.
I know,
that's for sure. That's for sure. From a personal point of view, the trip's purpose was aligning what I love to do with my photography, and that's to bring awareness to the beauty of the ocean. It was that simple for me. It's rare when things line up that well. Elements aligning in unique, unrepeatable ways, that's when I get fired up to go take photographs. And I just felt like during this trip, there were just so many of those coincidences that I hadn't experienced in one block of time like that before. We booked in a round island trip just to get a sense of what the island looks like from an ocean-bound perspective. And it didn't take long for us to recognise it was going to be a really long boat ride. My biggest memory from this day was poor little Minnow in a world of seasick pain. It was quite bumpy, and this photograph was taken on the return journey coming around the corner of the headland into the passage, and things got a little bit wilder. We were heading straight into the wind. Boat was rocky, wind's going nuts, and Dave's just grabbing his hat as this rainbow pops out of nowhere from a cloud. The light just hitting it perfectly, and that's a little moment on our bumpy boat ride around the island. We'd spent all afternoon having a family surf. It was 1 to 2 feet, sweepy as hell. It was a little bit of a mind melter, trying to keep in position. Rasta and Minnow had pulled the pin. It's just one of those things where a little reward comes your way if you keep persevering. And yeah, we had a great little pop of light at the end of day. Rainbows and birds and beautiful light, and Lauren got to enjoy a session to herself, which is quite rare, I'd say. It was really cool to see. On our first day, we were taken to this little spot, and you walk through a little canopy and break open into like a headland view overlooking this little right-hander. As the tide came in, this little wave really started to show its form, and Dave was just in heaven. Dave believed this wave was like one of the best body surfing waves he's ever ridden, and his performance showed that. I love body surfing so much, and to document one of the best guys out there doing it in complete joy the whole time. I mean, this was one of the most memorable sessions I've had in the water for a very long time, and this is a cool little moment of him dolphining through the end of a wave at full speed, his hair slicked back and all of the whitewash explosions above him. It's just like a cool little moment for me to remember that day with. We'd all just arrived on the island. Yeah, it was a really cool afternoon. It was cool to see Dave and Minnow and Lauren enjoying the water, and sharing that space with them was really awesome. Minnow's a super curious little kid, and Dave's got so much knowledge about the ocean and the natural world. It was really cool to recognise this moment of him passing on his knowledge. It felt pretty cool to capture those moments for the family. Another little moment from our body surfing session, the mystical little right-hander. This image sums up the day for me. Not only was I there with the family, Shorty was there filming for Kin, and as water photographers we spend hours together bobbing around in the ocean and enjoying everything together too. And it's really cool to get great images of your friends doing good things together, and this photograph sums that up to me. Watching Shorty shoot Dave, both doing what they love in one moment. It's almost like looking in the mirror for me. This is one of my favorites because it's a 1 in a billion frame. You know, it's not a technical shot or whatever, but it's just so cool. Dave was flying towards me. I held my ground. He pulled the brakes on. He's laughing at me, knowing he's about to almost headbutt the camera. And he's popping up to the surface, and God knows how these air bubbles have formed around his eyes, creating these underwater aviator sunglasses. I've never seen anything like it. And I can almost guarantee I'll never get a photo like this ever again. Thanks, Dave. Pulling up to the base of Ball's Pyramid was like nothing I'd ever experienced before. The closest thing I've felt like that in the ocean was maybe Shipstone's Bluff, in that you've got this massive towering headland that feels like it's falling on top of you. Ball's Pyramid was like that on steroids. It's just like nothing else I've experienced. There were birds everywhere, waves smashing the bottom of the cliffs. It was just so beautiful. I didn't know how to photograph it for at least 15 minutes. I was just soaking it in. Yeah, as the day wrapped, we headed around the back into the sun, and this moment was taken on our way home with balls centered between Dave and Lauren. Yeah, it was just a nice little moment to sum up that day. I don't know if it's exactly halfway between Lord Howe and Ball's Pyramid, but there's a trench that's approximately 600 metres deep. As soon as we hit the trench, the swell dropped out, and then these dolphins appeared out of nowhere, and they started following the boat. And yeah, before we knew it, we jumped overboard and joined the dolphins, and Dave and Lauren were just playing with them for 45 minutes of just complete joy and connection. The dolphins were communicating with Dave and Lauren through movement and space and sound. It's really cool to watch. This photograph was one of so many cool shots from that day, but this one's a really cool slice of time from one of the best days on the water in my life. There was so many moments, not only with Dave and Lauren interacting with dolphins, but of the dolphins themselves. And I feel like these guys were coming at me to say hello maybe, but it just felt like one of those days where everything was in sync. I don't know, that synchronicity is kind of summed up in this frame, and it sums it up for me. This was our last afternoon, and we went out to this grassy little headland to enjoy the sunset, and Minnow found just heaven here. He's bouncing around the mound, yeah, flopping around on the grass, bouncing around. I remember doing it too, it was so fun. We just had the best time. There were a few little moments around that afternoon that were pretty funny too, like Lauren throwing up an apple and poor little Minnow. He just missed catching it, and he came off second best in that exchange. Felt so bad for the little man. This is a really cool way to wrap up the trip, and sums up just the fun that Minnow and Lauren have together. If I'm taking pictures for the love, it's mostly going out just to become a part of the day, get out there, get in the water, have a swim, having zero expectations. It's more just enjoying that space and time. I love creating in that moving space. I think it's really unique. There's not many places that you can create where you're immersed in your subject entirely. The camera's moving, the subject's moving, you're moving within that. It's a really cool space to create from, and that's kind of why I love to do it.